Hi, thank you for joining me today for 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, round 14. And today I'm moving back to day 16 sketch, which was created by Ashley, the Scrapbooking Nerd. I'll leave it in the top left-hand corner there. This was one that I had pulled photos out for and had hoped to do last Saturday, but just didn't find the time. So I'm coming back to it today. And I pulled out Rainbow Ave by Celes Gonzalo. And I thought this would work really nicely. So first of all, I spotted this paper which has the stripes down the left hand side, which works perfectly with that sketch. So I decided to use that, and then I've used just one of our dinner plates to draw around using my Tim Holtz watercolour pencils. And then I'm just blending that yellow out. I just wanted it to create an outline of yellow with it sort of fading out towards the edges. This is 3 photos of my 2 and my nephew just playing in the garden before we went out for the day. It was a nice sunny day, so I wanted to use these bright sunny colours. So I'm just off screen, I'm sorry about that, dipping my pencil into water and then using it like a watercolour pencil, well, a watercolour paint I suppose, on the layout. And I'm just adding those lines in between the stripes on the page. So these photos were printed on an A4 sheet, as I think they're called contact photos, and I've just cut them out with a white border around the edge, so they are as they are. And this is the border strip that I cut off at the beginning, and I just wanted to add that to the left hand side of the page just to finish it off really. I didn't really want to finish with a white strip. I'm not quite sure why, I just didn't. And you can see on the left of my cutting mat there that I've got lots and lots of die cut flowers. So these florals were cut from white cardstock and also from some Spectrum sherbet, which I'm just working my way through the scraps now. So these are cut from the brand new dies that we've got coming into Hey Little Magpie tomorrow, as you see this video. If you're watching this when it goes up, they're coming in on Friday. Very excited about them. They're long stemmed and I think they'll work really beautifully with wax seals, but they also work really nicely for layouts like this where I want to create almost like a wildflower effect. So I've just cut various florals, as I say, from various papers, and I'm just poking them in underneath those photos and trying to get almost like a sunburst effect with the florals going around the edge, focusing more on the top and the bottom. I'm also going to paint some of them with my Tim Holtz watercolour pencils, just to blend in the colours and bring in more of those pinks that are in the papers, because I tended, when I cut them out, I focused on oranges, teals and yellows, so I wanted to bring in some more of the colours in those stripes on the paper. So I'm just fiddling and faffing here, trying to work out what to do, and this is about the point when I realise that I really am going to have to paint some. I can't just make do with the ones that are cut from colours. Of course I could have pulled out some more papers from the collection and cut some, but I don't have that many scraps from this collection yet, and I didn't want to waste full sheets die cutting. I think die cutting is great using your scraps, so I'm just making do with what I've got. So I started off with some shimmers, but they don't have the depth of colour that I really wanted on this layout, so I quickly move on to those watercolour pencils that I'd used at the beginning. And the beauty of the watercolour pencils, of course, is that they're matte rather than shimmery. So here I am with that green and just going, I think this is peel paint, and just dipping it into the water. I don't know why I have the water on the right hand side of my desk when I'm left-handed. It's such a strange thing. I really need to switch that out. But I'm just, as I say, colouring in with a wet pencil to get that pigment onto the flowers and the leaves. And here I've pulled out the pink. I think this is picked raspberry. And then I'm blending it in with the yellow, which is mustard seed. So I'm getting a beautiful orange where the two colours blend and then fading that into the yellow. These really are brilliant for blending into one another. I had great fun doing this. I can see me doing this an awful lot on layouts now and on my die cuts. It's a great way to add some colour. So again, just with that green peel paint going down the stem. So I've used mustard seed, as I say, that was the colour that I used around the edge of the page to create the circle. The green is peel paint, the pink is picked raspberry, and then I do come in with some speckled egg as well, which is just a beautiful, very pale blue. Those teal colours were just too bright on the layout compared to the rest of the pastels that I've got going on in this collection, so I decided to change those. So just taking my time, and I am colouring in some of the flowers that have been cut from the pattern papers as well. So this one is yellow, and I'm just adding some pink and also some greens to that. And then bringing in this wildflower, and this is where I bring in that speckled egg. And it's very, very subtle, the speckled egg. It's a very pale blue, but it works really nicely. And when it's up against the white cardstock, it does look beautiful. I'm just looking at the layout now. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So I'll leave a link to these dies down below. They're on the website as coming soon at the moment. We do ship internationally. The shipping is set quite high if you're outside the UK, but these are light and will go as a large letter. So I'll refund any overage if you do want to buy them. The shipping will be much, much cheaper if you're just buying dies and small bits and pieces from the shop. So almost there with the colouring in. While I'm continuing with this, please don't forget to check the description box down below where I have the details of everybody else joining in on this hop. There's a YouTube playlist to follow, and if you go to Facebook and look for 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, you'll find the Facebook group, and there are 14 albums now for you to browse, 14 months worth of sketches and inspiration from everybody who joined in on those sketches. It's absolutely fabulous. So just starting to tuck those flowers in and work out exactly where I want them to go. It's tough because of the photos do keep moving around, but I'm just getting a general feel for it. Like I say, I know that I want them to be predominantly pointing towards the top and to just about east of the page, and then coming down, leaving a little gap to the right of that photo of Amelia, and then coming down the page towards the bottom. So spraying them out all the way around that circle really, but leaving a slight gap to the right hand side of that middle photo. I'm just having a look to see what else. I think I may colour in another flower, I can't remember. Yes, here we go. Another little spray just with the pink picked raspberry on all the little buds, and then I'll go down with the yellow and into the green on this one. So blending that yellow to create some orange as well. They really are amazing, these paint watercolour pencils. I think I'm going to have to get some more tins. He's got quite a few out now. This is set 1 for anybody who's interested. I think we've sold out of them at Hey Little Magpie, but I will be getting this set back in, because it's a really versatile set. So here I am with the green, just colouring in the stem now. I think that's it. I think that's the last one that I do. Obviously I have to leave that to dry a little bit. They dry pretty quickly, depending on how much water you've used, of course. But there we go. So just laying that one down. I put it at the side there, but I think it moves to the bottom shortly. And that lovely daisy that I'd just coloured in the tip with some pink and then added some yellow, but it was die cut from a pattern paper anyway, so I didn't have to do too much with that. So this is where I decided to just move the photos out the way so I can just stick these in sprays and then add the photos on top afterwards. So I'm just checking if there are any more of the shapes that I've missed, and I love that one there, so it's like a ginkgo leaf. So just adding that. Just checking that I'm happy with the positioning of the stems and the flowers aren't too far down, because I want them to really show off the long stems. And then I'm coming in with my Nuvo glue, and first of all I'm just going to add almost like a strip that I can stick the stems very loosely to, and then I can focus in on the heads of the florals and just add little dots behind some of those to anchor them into place. So that's the bottom spray done, and then I'm just going to stick that orange daisy that's hanging down to the right, and then come in with this top spray, and like I say, just add a decent dot so that I can stick all the stems to it, and then I can carry on. So just checking before the glue dries. I'm happy with all that. There's that peach daisy that I was talking about. And just once again checking the positioning. I keep bringing these photos back just to check that I'm happy, and then I can glue everything down properly. And that little Precious Memories banner is from the ephemera pack. I will be bringing in some other bits and pieces in due course. I just want to get these down first, and then once I've got that down I can continue to embellish. So as I say, this was just a sunny day in June 2010 when the kids were all playing in the garden, and I was just a bit snap happy really, just taking pictures of them all running around. I think I had my DSLR camera out at this point because we were going to Knowsley Safari Park. I've scrapped those photos previously on this series, and so I was just having a little play with it while they were in the garden. So this is where I said I'm just adding a few dots of glue to each of these stems just to hold them in place. I don't mind it, I'm quite happy for them to flow freely on the page, but I just want them to be anchored so that they don't drop off the page in due course if there's not enough glue on there. Almost there. And then I can work on the photos. So the photos are going to be mounted up onto foam pads just to hold them proud of all those florals, and also to let those florals almost fly free. It gives them a little bit more movement, having the photos raised up rather than stuck flat onto the page. So here are those 25mm sticks to foam pads. They're sold on a big roll at Hey Little Magpie, and they're absolutely fantastic for this job. They have an overhang on the paper that you tear off, so they're very easy to take the backing off as well. So just using my T-square ruler to check that that first photo of George, my nephew, is straight, and then I can add the other two. I'm not so bothered. Once the first one's down and it's straight, I know that that will guide me more or less with the other two as well. So Amelia's there in her little play shed. We were trying to work out what she was doing. My dad had fitted it like a barn door. He built that play shed for them. It was absolutely wonderful. But I think she was playing shop. She wasn't quite 3. Well, both of them obviously weren't quite 3. And my nephew George is just over a year older than them. So they're all pretty close in age. So bringing in the stickers now from this collection. This is the foam stickers first of all, and I spot the word together, and I think that will work really nicely with that banner. So the title reads Precious Memories Together. Now in the sketch I know that Ashley has the title above that middle photo, but I decided that it just worked better at the bottom there, so that's where I put it. This little birdie I thought was really cute, so that's going to sit on the edge of that banner, looking in at Amelia. It's on the photo, but it's just blank space on the photo, so it works really nicely there. Then I saw a couple of tickets, which I thought would look nice if she is playing shop, and the tickets would work, wouldn't they? So I've just tucked those in under the 2 photos, and then I'm playing with some butterflies, and these butterflies look like they're about to land somewhere, so I'm just mixing them in amongst the florals. So a little yellow one at the top here, and there was a blue one that went in the middle, and then just sticking those tickets down because I know I want them to stay. I've also pulled out that camera, and that does stay too. So just checking that I'm happy with the positioning before I get that stuck down, and then I can build on that cluster. I decided that I wanted a cluster there on the left hand side of that bottom photo. So just going through all the ephemera pieces until I find one that will work, and that gets added. So I find these 3 circles, so I use one that says fun just above the camera there, and then another one that says love underneath the bird's bum. I try it in the corner there, but I decide that it's much better in this cluster here, so along with the title. So it's just filling in that gap nicely between the title and the bird. So another butterfly, a little pink one this time. And I like that one because it's facing the other way, so it gives a bit of balance. And then I find this teacup full of florals. Now I don't want to use the teacup, but the florals will work nicely, so I just tuck the cup underneath the photo so you can't see, and it just looks like a little cluster of flowers. A little gold star, well it's a rose gold star, which I think works nicely to fill in that gap next to the word together. So I'm just tucking that in half under that photo. And then I find this lovely blue heart, and I'm going to add that underneath the word together on a foam pad just to raise it up above those stems. So just grab the other Sticks to foam pads that I sell on a roll again. These are 6x12mm, and they're great for smaller little elements like this. So continuing to go through the ephemera, I find this little bow, so I add that to the bottom of that bottom photo. And then a craft tag that I punched from my EK Success tab punch, and that will hold the date for me. So I'm just going to glue that onto the photo of James. Just hold it in place for a second to stick, and I'll use some scrap paper to write the date on shortly. So now into the 6x12 sticker sheet, and I'm just looking for some little florals just to dot about in amongst my die cut florals. So there's that one with the longer stem there, and then I go for the little flower heads. I also find this big sticker and decide to just go for it and add that to the left-hand cluster, and then just cut the very end off, and then I'm going to tuck that underneath that craft tab after trying several different positions. So here are some more of those little florals, just using them as scattering pieces. They just fill out those blank spaces in between the die cut flowers. And here's that scrap paper to write my date on. So it's the 4th of June 2010. And I still remember it so clearly. So just snipping the end off, and then I'll add that to that tab. And then a couple of ribbon loops. You know, I really enjoy ribbon loops at the moment. So a little yellow and white striped ribbon, and then some black and white gingham. There's the black and white gingham, and that black just makes everything pop, and it blends in nicely with that Precious Memories banner as well. So those are tucked in. And now I'm just going to come with some gold splatters, and I'm going to focus those around that watercolour circle that I've created. So trying to keep the middle more clear of gold, and then just adding these splatters around the edge, and then I just add some splatters in amongst the florals, but leaving the white space further out. And that's it done. Thank you so much for joining me. I shall see you again very soon. Bye.